I'm fishing with a 0.7 gram jig head and a 2-inch rubber fish. What you do very simply, I'm trying to make sure I capture this on film, slide the hook through the fish there. It's not as easy if you've got someone filming for you, but I think you can see what I've done there. And there's the tail, which will wiggle in the water. Very, very simple, easy to do. Obviously make sure the hook point is showing, and it's always about balance. So the size of the hook in particular and the fish that you've got threaded on, they have to be balanced. It's no good having a small hook and a huge fish, or vice versa. Balance is important as far as presentation is concerned. I'm ready to cast out. Standard procedure as far as that's concerned. Out into the water, and immediately I'm starting to work the lure. A couple of squirrels there chasing each other behind me. I wondered what that was coming out the bushes. I'm working the lure there, as you can see, both by the movement on the rod tip and the regular, continual but small turns of the reel handle, and the combination of the two means that the lure is very active in the water, and I'm also bringing it through as well. It's not drop shotting where you keep the bait in one place, but mini jigging, you are drawing that small fish through the water in the hope that you can tempt a nice perch, because that's always my target invariably when I'm doing this type of angling. Nothing on that cast. Again, back out into the water. This particular pool that I'm on is 6 feet deep maximum. The vegetation has died off, so not so much of a problem, but in the summer, if you're on a shallow venue, hold the rod even higher, because that way you keep the bait off the bottom, and maybe give it a little bit more of a jiggle and perhaps a slight turn extra on the handle as you're bringing it in. Otherwise you just snag into all the vegetation. Even on this, with the 0.7 gram that I've got, I'm still catching the bottom from time to time. If you are new to this type of fishing, you've got the gear, a good tip from me is to find some clear water where you can cast out and observe the lure. So every time you twitch the rod, every time you turn the handle, you can see the effect on the lure out there. And that's a great thing to do, because what you can then see with your own eyes when you can't, i.e. the water is murky or it's a little bit further out or deeper or whatever, you can't see the fish being worked in the water, then you know what's happening because you've already done that previously. Nothing at all on that one either. Always check the lure, especially if you've had an encounter with a lily or some underwater vegetation. If you do hook into a branch or a log, then most definitely have a look at the hook as well. Make sure that it hasn't straightened, because that can happen. I'm fishing with braid. I like that when I'm doing this type of angling, because you are directly in contact with the fish. And even a 3 or 4 ounce perch gives such a solid take. It really does come out of nowhere. You're bringing it in like this, and then suddenly you feel the fish on the end of the line. Brilliant. Always bring the lure in as well, right to the very edge. I've got margins in front of me, so that gives me great clarity right until the end. And the reason I say keep it coming until you can't bring it in anymore is because very often fish will follow through. You find that a lot of the perch you take are within 10 feet, say, from the bank. It doesn't mean to say they were there. they could have been out into the middle when you cast, but you brought them in, and there's often that sense that their little snack is getting away and they want to do something about it. And you do see fish follow through. Again, that's another advantage of maybe doing lure fishing on some clear water, because you get to see a lot more than if you can't observe what's happening beneath the surface. It's a great way of fishing, and especially when time is tight, as I've so often said.